Hi, best friends. Welcome back. I know, I'm late, but I have a good reason. I'm lazy. I was going to make something else tonight, but it involves creativity and thought and production, and I don't have time for that. I'm tired. There's a pandemic going on. So I wanted to do something easy and lazy, some of my favorite things, and hopefully easier to edit. So we're going to just read something online, and I'm going to comment on it. As I've touched on multiple times, I feel like I'm not very internet-y. I didn't spend a lot of time on the internet growing up, didn't really have a computer or a phone. I feel like the current generation is very tech-savvy or is sort of raised online, and that was certainly not me. I don't go to forums, I don't really visit any other web pages. I honestly only ever have like 3 tabs open at any given time. I just don't have like the patience for it. I don't really get it. I'm more of a person-to-person person. Whatever, you get it. I feel this weird disconnect with online culture, or people that are, as I call it, internet-y. All this being said, I've recently discovered a fun Twitter account, and I'm also bad at Twitter. I'd much rather spend my time in the real world. I know that sounds very boomer of me. You're welcome. I'm becoming ancient before your very eyes. But this account I've been following just posts things from this forum, Am I the Asshole, on Reddit. And I'm sure people have heard of it. Like, I'm absolutely positive I'm the last to the game. I'm the last in the room at this point, which I'm fine with. I don't really care. But I've been enjoying it, and if you don't know what it is, because you're like me and very inexperienced with like online spaces, it's basically just a place for people to post like a story, and then other people tell them if they're the asshole, or if the other person is, or if neither of them are. It's really fun. I suggest reading it if you're bored. I don't even post in it. Like, I could get banned for all I care, so it doesn't really matter to me. But they're really funny to read, and I usually will find a gem here or there where I have very strong opinions on, or I just find very funny. So I thought, why not just read through those with you today and comment on them? So I've cherry-picked some posts from the forum, from the place, whatever you call it, to go over and just read through and have some fun with. Because I would much rather make something like this where I can speak and talk to you than just make a comment.
I'm not some nerd on the internet.
Alright, so our first post is a nice, easy one. Ease us into it. I didn't want to go with anything too crazy to start off with. Am I the asshole for saying that my friend was being dramatic by announcing his ADHD diagnosis to the group chat? And it reads, I'm in a group chat with 8 other people. We all go to the same grad school. John said, "Hi everyone, I received a diagnosis." He never even announced he was sick or seeing a doctor, at least to me, so I was afraid that he had cancer or something similarly serious. Another friend responded, "Oh no, is everything okay?" After a 2-hour-long pause, John said, "I will be okay now. I have been diagnosed with ADHD." Just for reference, I was diagnosed with ADHD when I was very young, and so this just tickled me. The poster goes on to say, as a person with ADHD, this struck me as obviously being much less serious than a terminal diagnosis, and not worth the drama. I said, "Man, I thought you were dying or something. That was really dramatic." He didn't respond to me, and the conversation moved on. A mutual friend of me and John messaged me and told me that John was very offended by what I said. John thinks that I was minimizing his very serious diagnosis, a diagnosis he sees as a revelation, and the reason he's always struggled to succeed in work/school. Since this was told to me in a covert way, I didn't see a space to apologize or explain myself. I don't even know what I would say. That I still think that saying I received a diagnosis in a group chat and announcing an ADHD diagnosis is overdramatic? Am I being the asshole here? Okay. First of all, no. Like, not at all. Because it's one of those things where you can tell this person, like, okay, here's where my real personality comes out. So, like, if you don't like me when I'm not scripted, then leave the room, run for the hills. It is clearly someone that wants attention. Like, I don't believe for a second that this was, like, an epiphany moment for this person of, like, That's what it's been. It's been the ADHD, and this is really moving. Especially with the 2-hour pause in there of like, oh, okay, well, what is it? What's the diagnosis? Like, what's going on?
ADHD.
It's so odd to me. Like, it seems so cathartic and moving, but it's such like I guess it's just apples and oranges to say, oh, people have so many worse things, but ADHD, I mean, this person knew what they were doing. They wanted this dramatic revelation. It just feels very, I don't know, juvenile. To me, it's the equivalent of like a boy getting his first armpit hair and being like,
Well, I'm a man now. That's done. That's it. It's time to get married and sire some children.
I don't even know how to describe how minor this feels for how grand this person clearly wanted to present it and what a big moment they wanted to have. You know, it's really weird to just announce that you have a diagnosis and then wait several hours to respond with what it is. This tickles me. I love it. One down. This next one, there are no words. Am I the asshole for telling my sister's husband about her past? I'm 38 male and my sister is 35 female. When my sister was 21, she got pregnant from a one-night stand. Baby didn't make it, unfortunately, which devastated my sister, but with therapy, she moved on. She met her partner a year later. 4 years ago, she had their first child. We're currently living with my mother to stay close together. We got onto the topic of children, and while I don't want children, neither does my partner. Apparently my sister's partner wants another one so that their child has a sibling. She changed subject quickly and we moved on to another subject. We got speaking about it later and I asked her if she wanted another child. Basically, she said she didn't believe her son needed a sibling. I said, well, he technically has a sibling, doesn't he? Apparently her partner overheard and they got into a huge argument because she hadn't told him. She's upset with me for talking about it at all and basically telling her husband. And her partner is upset with her. It's all a huge thing. My mother thinks I should have never mentioned it and believes I'm out of order here. I think her partner should have known anyways. Am I the asshole? She had a stillbirth for everyone wondering. That's not funny. Like, I'm not laughing at the idea of a stillbirth. I'm laughing at the idea of like, again, maybe I'm just not internety enough, but like,
For everyone wondering, it was stillbirth. The baby was dead.
And there it is. Like, because it's already inappropriate. Like, obviously, this person is an asshole. Like, what an asshole. Why would you bring that up? It's obviously a sensitive subject. But to just end your post asking about, hey, was I a jerk to do this? With like,
Well, the baby was dead.
it's like, yeah, I got that. You didn't, like, I don't need details. This is weird. This reminds me, I mean, this does seem very internety to me. This seems like a person that, like, doesn't understand normal, like, social cues. It's hard to describe, but, I mean, the closest example I can give is, like, I think some people have it and some people don't. That ability to, like, read a room. Understand that certain people are sensitive about certain topics, and then some people just don't have it. And if you don't have it, like, bless your soul, good luck to you. I know it must be hard. If you do have it, it's so secondhand embarrassing to watch someone just fumble their way into a social faux pas, especially one this awful. In their head, it's just, I'm just saying, you know, the truth. I'm just stating a fact. But that's like having, let's say you had a friend, had a horrible burn on their face, that they were, like, they didn't even tell you, let's say that they were self-conscious about it, but it was like 50% of their face had been scarred by burns. You would naturally assume that calling attention to it, either positive or negative, like, I think your face is so beautiful, actually, ugh. Like, I'm sure they would not appreciate that. Or the reverse of that, of, like, being disgusted by them. Even this middle ground of just being like,
So you burned your face, huh? Horribly? Oh, is it painful? The burn on your face? I'm staring right at it. It's a burn on your face.
I've had friends that do this sort of thing and I kind of have to work to weed it out of them and be like, if there is something that if you had it, you wouldn't want it talked about, please, for the love of God, use that. Like, reference that of, hey, maybe I wouldn't want this called attention to. Like, I'd understand if the person brings it up, like, oh, you know, I have this burn from when I was a child or whatever. But if they like walk in the room and your first instinct is to be like,
well, I have to point it out. Like, I've got to say something. I have to be the hero.
what an idiot. God, if only he could have been the stillbirth. I might cut that. Our next post. Am I the asshole for refusing to pretend to buy my girlfriend drinks? This is going to be ridiculous. Forgive me. A few weeks ago, my 31 male girlfriend, 22 female, of 8 months invited me to go to bar hopping with 2 of her friends. They are also a couple, so this was a double date. I don't like her friends, but I agreed to go to make her happy. Already, we're getting into it. I'm loving it. I've read this one before. It just... As she was putting on her makeup, she told me she had to ask a favor. She asked me to pretend to pay for her drinks in front of her friends. She said she would give me cash before we left to make it look like I am paying, when she is actually paying for herself. Okay, you know, you're thinking, well, uh-oh, what's going on here? From the beginning of our relationship, we've agreed to keep our finances separate. We buy gifts for holidays and birthdays, but do not pay for each other for anything else. We pay separately when we go out to eat. Ooh, romantic. If she asks me to pick something up just for her when I'm at the store, she gives me the exact change back. It's like a Jane Austen novel. I like this arrangement as it proves to me she is not with me for my money. Obviously, I would not be with her for her money, as she is a poor college student. Like, he might as well end that sentence with,
Dumb bitch.
the disdain. And I love it. 31 male, 22 female. Flags. You can tell this is a person that wrote this not wondering, like, was I being an asshole? But, like, I know that I'm right. And I've just got to have the world tell me. It's come to my attention that her friends are much more shallow than she is. I was shocked by her asking me to pretend to pay for her. I asked her why. She said her friends tease her because I never pay for her. I said I'd think about it. I felt inadequate as a boyfriend when she said that to me. I started wondering if I should just pay for her. Then I realized this is manipulative on her part, even if unintentionally. I was not going to be guilted into paying for her or be humiliated by not paying for her. First of all, let's break it down. Let's go from the top down. I realize this is manipulative on her part, even if unintentionally. This radiates energy of like,
Oh, that stupid baby, that dumb idiot little baby that I'm dating. I think it's unintentional. Like, I said unintentional. I'm not accusing her of manipulating me. I said unintentional.
That doesn't make it better. Like, it just sounds condescending. And the idea that her friends are shallow for noticing, like, your dynamic with her, that's not shallow. Hey, it's weird that you always have to pay for yourself. Why doesn't your boyfriend ever pay? Like, even, like, teasing. Like, he's not... This is one of those posts where you know if the guy had more ammunition on her, he would use it. Because he clearly, like, looks down on her and her level of, like, intelligence and maturity, or places his super high up, either or both. If he had her friends being like,
Oh, he's a deadbeat. What a moron. He's not paying for you. Oh, girl, you gotta get out of there, girl.
but he's not. He's not using it here, meaning he doesn't have it. If he had it, he'd use it. Oh, they're lightly teasing her because you seem cheap. Yeah, because you seem cheap. Like, I understand it's like, well, we have a whole system. But we'll get to that because that's funny to me. I told her no, which ended up snowballing into a bad fight. She started to cry and said her friend's boyfriend, the one we were going drinking with, always spoils his girlfriend, and it makes her feel bad I never do that for her. It made me feel like shit to hear that. We agreed that it was for the best to keep our money separate, and now she wants to flip the script! Which, first of all, old person. Like, I just radiates old person energy. Just flipping the script. Get out of your rocker, grandpa. Like, for one night, she wants to do, like... And she's not flipping the script. Like, she wants to pay for her own drink. She's just gonna give you the money. And then I'll be humiliated. She humiliated you alone in your own home. I spoil her in other ways. Which I honestly, no joke, thought that the next thing it would say would be like,
with my personality, my good looks, my time, my attention, like, come on.
as if this is God's gift. I allow her to live with me rent-free because I love her. I told her that I don't care what her friends do in their relationships because the only thing that should matter is what works in our relationship. Well, it's obviously not working for her, isn't it? Like, you could argue, like, yes, because of her friends' input, but, like, if it matters to her on even just that level, then it's not working. Like, her friends aren't just gonna turn into smoke and disappear. They're theoretically going to be around for a long time, so I don't understand why... Whatever, it's so stupid. We went out for the night and I refused to play along. She ended up paying for both our drinks that night. When I go to ask for 2 checks, she'd passive-aggressively say it was fine. Which, yeah, she's being, like, catty, but I love that. Like, you go, girl. That's what I would have done. Like, okay, fine, I'll pay for both of us, you big baby. Things were a bit tense after that night, but a few days later, things were back to normal, or so I thought. We got into a small fight last night again about something unrelated. Probably because he's going to be dead soon, so she needs to figure out what she's gonna do. He falls down the stairs because he trips over his walker. She brought up that situation again, saying I acted like a complete asshole that night. Now she is giving me the cold shoulder. I did not think I was an asshole. I thought she is immature to want to make her friends think I'm her ATM. This is really where it gets into you don't even think you could be wrong. However, I'm starting to wonder if I should have handled it differently because she is very upset. First of all, I'm wondering if I could have handled it differently. So not even like, should I have done it her way? Like, that's inconceivable. He knows he's right. Just like, how should he have told her that she was a
Stupid bitch, idiot, dumb baby.
like, is there a better way to say that? Her friend will think I'm her ATM because you paid for one night of drinks. Like, oh my God, ladies. Oh my, he has $120. Line up for the ATM. It's one night of drinks. How many drinks are you getting?
Waiter, can you bring me enough drinks to build myself like a little fort around my booth? Thank you.
This is so stupid. I was reading this to someone the other night, and they said, like, well, I do kind of understand the point of, like, well, if it works for them, what's the problem? And what I said to that is, that sounds like it's a good point. It's not. Like, they don't exist in a vacuum. They're not dating each other on the moon. They're dating each other in America, presumably. Social norm dictates that your partner should be important to you, and part of that is, like, showing that you care by maybe gifts or acts of service or doing things for them. This weird transactional
She gives me exact change every time, without fail.
is weird. Like, it's odd, it's businesslike, it's cold, and her friends are gonna point that out. I'm not saying don't do it. Do it if it works for you. But people are going to point out that it is an unusual custom to split everything so harshly. They are allowed to be judged. That shouldn't stop them. Like, whatever, do you. But you're allowed to be noticed. People are gonna notice. And so, yeah, I don't care if the girlfriend goes,
Well, we have a system, and he's actually really great, and it works for us.
I'm gonna go, that's a weird system, and maybe make a little light fun of you. Like, I don't care. I wouldn't personally care. It would just be, like, funny to me. His unwillingness to even compromise a little. Like, maybe she could pay for dinner one night or buy a nice gift for no reason, and, you know, he could come home with a gift, or he takes them out one night, or, like, switch off. But the rigidity of this man... Ladies, look out.
Someone's going to be single soon.
Our last post is a bit of a long one, and I have not read all of it. I just was intrigued by the title, so we're gonna get into it. Am I the asshole for not wanting my boyfriend to lose weight? When me, 21 female, and my boyfriend, R, 24 male, met, we were both chubby. I was definitely a lot bigger than him at the time, but we were both average. He has more of a dad bod, while I've always been at the very least considered chubby. Since the beginning, he knew my type has always been chubbier guys. Thinnest I'd say I'd ever been attracted to was a dad bod. I definitely have nothing against skinny guys. I just can't help what I'm attracted to. He, on the other hand, has definitely been into more skinny girls than chubby, although he has dated both. He does often make remarks about bigger girls, girls that I thought were the same size as me when we met, and definitely make me feel a little insecure. Since then, I lost a lot of weight due to new medications, but I am still chubby. R has also talked about wanting to lose weight, but he wants to lose a lot of it. He basically wants to be in the healthy weight range. I definitely don't blame him for wanting to lose weight. I had suffered an eating disorder back in high school, so I definitely know how it feels to view one's own body like he does, which is why I definitely feel like an asshole for wanting to talk him out of it. It's not just my personal attraction that makes me argue against it, though. Oh, she's gonna have a good reason. You guys, this isn't some horrible monster woman. She's got a reason. And we're gonna learn it. Although I do honestly worry about that, at the end of the day, I will be attracted to him no matter what, simply because I fell for his personality. The ultimate lie. And that is where the true attraction lies. After she just spent like a paragraph being like,
well, this is what's hot and what's not. That's where the real attraction is, his personality.
As long as it's fat. But it is in the back of my mind that I've never looked at a thinner guy the same way I look at chubbier men. Okay, whatever, you do you. The other thing that worries me is trauma I have related to thinner guys. As odd as that sounds, where is this going? Thinner men in themselves aren't where the trauma lies. When I was 17, I went through a traumatic experience by a man that was significantly thinner than me. I remember feeling helpless and making fun of myself for feeling like that with someone that was half my size. Ever since then, the idea of being physical with someone smaller than me has always brought back painful memories. Okay, sure, I mean, I get that. It does sound a little bit like I want to be with someone that makes me feel smaller, which I guess I get, because I generally have always chosen partners that make me feel like the dainty one. I don't know, like, I guess I get that, but it's weird when it's like weight specific. I mean, you can't help what you're attracted to, sure, whatever. Another reason I don't like the idea of him losing weight is how much of his personality becomes losing weight. I personally hate everything that goes into losing weight. I hate diet and exercise. I know I should, so I try to force myself, but it's definitely not something I enjoy. I mean, sure, lots of people don't. Every time he begins to diet or go to the gym or anything to do with losing weight, it becomes all he talks about. It takes over a majority of our conversations. I wouldn't mind talking about it at all. After all, I can imagine it could take up such a big part of someone's life. However, it becomes all he talks about, and it feels like we have nothing in common, when we actually have so much in common. We have so much. This is one of those things to me where it's like, do you really? Because, like, you're basically arguing, like, if he gets this interest, it's going to become, like, his biggest interest. And then, like, for that period of time, you know, he's going to have this interest that I don't have. And we have so many interests in common. Well, then why are you trying to stop him from developing this one? Like, you can't. Because, I mean, I think the implication here is that, like, it wouldn't be genuine. It's not a real thing that he likes. It's just all he's talking about because he's so hyper-focused on losing weight. And it's like, I'm not seeing what's so horrible about that. Like, people that get really into health and fitness can get really annoying, sure. But, like, that's their deal. And they can find other people that are really into health and fitness. Like, and if you're not, you're not. But this weird sort of, like,
no, stay here with me. Stay here with me at our interests.
well, I'm sure he's still interested in those things. And, like, why can't you steer the conversation? This is very, like,
He's making all these decisions, and I'm just gonna be over here chubby and alone.
it's like, you can talk to him. Like, if he starts talking about health and fitness, like, you can, if it were me anyways, I'd be like, I don't want to talk about that. I've met guys that have seen that I'm so thin that they want me to gain weight, and I won't even entertain it. Like, I can't gain weight. My body doesn't work that way. You can work out, you can lose weight, gain weight, do whatever you want to do, but I don't care. I ended up breaking down in front of him, telling him I was scared of being seen as the fat girlfriend. He basically said he felt for me when I was significantly bigger, so I have no reason to worry. It makes me feel guilty for feeling the way I do. Am I the asshole? Edit. With me being the asshole in mind, because I honestly do agree, I'd really appreciate any help towards me being more accepting and supportive about this, preferably aside from getting therapy, because I do plan to work on that. Thank you all so much in advance. Well, okay, legitimate advice, like, your insecurity isn't his insecurity, so, like, it's hard to just say, like, get over it. Like, be upset, like, feel how you feel, but, I mean, I would just be clear about, like, if you want to make health and fitness, like, a huge focus for you, I'm all for that. Get healthy, get to your goal weight, whatever that is, in, like, a healthy way, and, like, we can occasionally talk about it, but I don't want to just focus on that. I don't want to get fixated on that. It makes me feel insecure about my weight. If you're respectful about it, then I'm fully supportive. But if it becomes everyday conversation, every minute, every hour, you know, I can't do that. which is an absolutely fair boundary. Whew. Well, I think that we've solved enough problems for the day. And by solved problems, I mean I judged people, which I'm really good at. I'm really good at it. I have a coworker that every time I do that with my voice, she laughs, and it keeps my world spinning. It keeps my world spinning. Anyways, maybe I'll do this again. Maybe I won't. It'll honestly depend on how it edits together. Okay, bye.